Picture this. I'm perched on a creaky wooden stool in Dr. Evelyn Harper's Chicago office. The walls lined with faded medical books, and a single fern curling toward the window. She's 87, her silver hair glinting under the soft glow of a desk lamp, her hands steady as she traces a line on a yellowed chart. She's been a family doctor for 62 years, still greeting patients 3 days a week with a smile that crinkles her eyes and a mind sharp enough to cut through decades of noise. People come to me chasing the secret to a long life, she says, her voice warm but edged with a knowing firmness. And they expect something grand, a rare herb, a fancy pill. But I tell them it's simpler, humbler than that. It's about washing 5 overlooked spots on your body every day. Through 6 decades of stitching cuts, soothing fevers, and watching lives unfold, Dr. Harper's learned a truth she stakes her own vitality on. Regular care for these 5 areas: feet, armpits, inner thighs, back, and scalp, can stretch your years and fill them with strength. It's not magic, it's practical wisdom, woven from science and the stories of patients she's pulled back from the edge. If you're here, whether you're 50, dreaming of decades ahead, or 75, craving more mornings with your grandkids, this is your wake-up call. Dr. Harper's not here to scare you. She's here to light a path, one she's walked herself, still tending her garden and laughing over tea at 87. These 5 areas, they're your body's unsung champions, ignored by most. But she's seen the cost of neglect, the stiffness, the fatigue, the slow fade, and the miracles of care. Hit subscribe if you're ready to step in. Drop your city in the comments. I'd love to know where you're joining me from. Stay till the end, because these aren't just habits. They're keys to a life that doesn't just linger but thrives. And the last one might flip your daily routine upside down. Let's walk into Dr. Harper's world together. This isn't about adding years. It's about making them glow, starting right now. Dr. Harper leans back, her chair squeaking softly, and fixes me with a steady gaze. Your feet, she says. They're the roots of your whole life. Neglect them, and the tree starts to sway. She's seen it too often. Patients dragging in, shoulders slumped, complaining of tiredness they can't shake, never suspecting their feet were the culprits. Science is catching up to what I've known for years, she adds, tapping a finger on her desk. A 2022 study from the University of Chicago backs her up, showing that regular foot washing boosts blood flow, slashing heart risks by 30% in folks over 60. They're your foundation, she tells me, her voice softening, carrying you through every step, yet we let them gather dust. I think of my Uncle Ray, 70, his boots scuffing my kitchen floor last summer, his face tight with pain as he sank into a chair. Legs are shot, he'd mutter, rubbing his knees, his voice rough with resignation. I mentioned it to Evelyn Harper over coffee one gray afternoon. She nodded knowingly. Cold feet, right? Poor circulation. She walked me through her ritual. Warm water, not hot enough to sting. 3 minutes to soften the skin. Gentle soap swirled in circles. A soft cloth tracing between toes. Then drying every nook like it's a treasure map. The real spark comes next. A thumb massage, pressing from the ball of the foot down to the heel, waking those quiet pressure points she swears by. I convinced Ray to try. His grumbling filled the room. Too much bother for an old man. But I caught him soaking one night, the steam curling up, his frown easing. 3 weeks later, he's pacing my porch, the boards creaking under a stride I hadn't seen in years, his eyes bright. Feel like I'm 60 again, he said, a grin cracking through, his hands clapping my shoulder like he used to when I was a kid. Dr. Harper's got stories too. Clara, 79, who shuffled into her office last spring, her breath shallow, her sleep jagged, her feet pale and icy under the exam light. I told her to wash and massage every night, Dr. Harper recalls, her voice lifting. And 3 months later, she's back in her garden, pulling weeds, sleeping through the night like a stone. I've felt it myself. Long days leave my feet aching, but I'd sit by the sink, soak them slow, massage till the tension melts, and suddenly I'm lighter, the fog lifting from my bones. It's not just clean feet, its life pulsing back where it had gone quiet. Dern Harper's kit is simple: a soft exfoliating brush, a non-slip mat so you don't wobble, a thick foot cream that smells like mint, and shoes that hug without pinching. Invest in your roots, she says, her eyes steady, and they'll keep you standing tall. Armpits? I say, half laughing, leaning forward on my stool. Dr. Harper chuckles, a low, warm sound, and nods. Gets them every time, but they're your detox hubs. Treat them right, and your whole system sings. She's watched patients transform when they stop ignoring this spot. Science chimes in with a 2023 Northwestern study showing armpit care ramps up lymph flow by 35%, bolstering your immune shield. Those lymph nodes, she explains, gesturing under her arm, they're your body's filters. Clog them with neglect, and you're begging for trouble. My friend's mom, Lois, 68, comes to mind. She'd slump on my couch every winter, sniffling, her energy drained by endless colds. Just my luck, she'd sigh, wrapping a blanket tight. I told Dr. Harper, she smiled, let's fix that. Her trick, mild, unscented soap, gentle circles from the edges inward, patting dry till no damp lingers, no harsh scrubs, no shortcuts. Then a 2-minute massage, fingers sliding up toward the collarbone, easing the lymph along. Lois smirked, armpits, really? But I handed her a bar of soap and a pep talk. A month later, she's bustling around her kitchen, colds of memory, her voice bright over the phone. I've got my spark back, she said, laughing like she hadn't in years. Dr. Harper's patient, Ed, 72, tells a similar tale. He'd limp in, shoulders stiff, complaining of a heaviness he couldn't shake. Same routine, she says, plus a switch to natural deodorant. No aluminum to block the flow. Weeks later, he's swinging golf clubs on her office TV screen, a grainy videos his wife sent. Like a fog lifted, he told her, his grin wide. I've taken it up. Mornings, I wash slow, massage till my arms loosen, feeling lighter by breakfast. Dr. Harper's warning cuts through. Swelling, tenderness, odd lumps. Run to a doctor, she says, her tone sharp. This is your traffic hub. Keep it moving, and you'll feel the difference everywhere. Dr. Harper's voice drops, serious now. Inner thighs. Folks laugh, but they're your circulation highways. She points to a chart, tracing the femoral artery's path. A 22 Cleveland Clinic study found caring here boosts blood flow by 25%, easing liver load. Big vessels run through, she says. Let them stagnate, and the river backs up. I'd never given mine a thought. Thighs were just there, hidden under jeans, doing their job unnoticed. My neighbor Pete, 76, learned the hard way. His legs swelled last fall, his steps dragging as he hauled groceries up his stoop. Getting old, he'd mutter, his breath short, his hands gripping the rail. Dr. Harper's fix, warm water, upward strokes with a soft cloth, drying every crease till it's bone dry, then a stretch, knees apart slow, holding 5 seconds. Pete scoffed, fancy nonsense. But I caught him one evening, towel in hand, stretching by his sink. Weeks later, he's tossing trash bags like a man half his age, swelling gone, his chuckle rumbling. Legs woke up, he said, clapping my back, his eyes glinting with a mischief I'd missed. Her patient, Jane, 70, had a deeper fight, liver numbers off, fatigue pinning her to her couch. Same care, Dr. Harper recalls. And 3 months in, her tests turned, she's walking her dog again. Jane's voice cracked when she told her, I feel alive. I've tried it. Nights, I wash, stretch, feel blood hum through me, a quiet rhythm I'd ignored. Dr. Harper insists, breathable cotton pants, a sprinkle of cornstarch, no talc, to fend off chafing. Highways need upkeep, she says, her gaze firm. Yours do too. Back's your energy spine, Dr. Harper declares, rolling her shoulders as if to prove it. Care for it, and your system lights up. A 2023 Yale study ties back washing to 20% better mobility in seniors, linking it to brain flow. Spine's your signal tower, she says, her hands tracing an invisible line down her back. I'd felt it, days bent over my desk, stiffness creeping in, mind muddled by noon. My cousin's dad, Bill, 81, was a shadow last winter. Back locked, words slow, his hands fumbling firewood. Dr. Harper's way, warm water, a long-handled brush sweeping up the spine, gentle twists, shoulders rolling back, hips steady. Bill snorted, "Old man's dance?" But I set him up by his tub, brush in hand. A month on, he's stacking logs, his voice clear, his laugh booming. "Like I'm 70, he said, tossing a splinter my way, eyes twinkling. Her patient, Ruth, 77, fought sleepless nights, same routine, and she's dreaming deep, waking sharp. Mine's alive, she told Dr. Harper, her hands clasping hers. I do it. Mornings, I wash, twist slow, feel my spine stretch awake, a hum running through me. Dr. Harper's firm, sharp pain, odd stiffness. Get it checked, she says. Your spine's your core. Keep it singing. Scalp's your mind's pulse, Dr. Harper says, her fingers brushing her own hair with a smile. Wash it right, and your brain lights up. A 2023 UCLA study links scalp care to 28% better brain flow. Fog clears, focus sharpens. Vessels here feed your thoughts, she explains, her voice softening. I'd skimped shampoo, sure, but the skin beneath, forgotten. My aunt, Marge, 80, was slipping last spring, names lost, days blurry, her voice faint over tea. Dr. Harper's fix, fingertips, not nails, circling from brow to nape, a 2-minute massage till the scalp tingles. Marge huffed, too fussy, but I knelt by her sink, guiding her hands. Weeks later, she's reciting pie recipes, her laugh ringing, her eyes bright. Mine's back, she said, squeezing my arm. Her patient, Tom, 75, battled restless nights, same care, and he's asleep by 10, waking clear. Best rest in years, he grinned. I've joined, showers, I massage slow, feel alertness bloom, a clarity I'd missed. Dr. Harper adds, cool rinse, gentle soap, no harsh rubs. Pulse needs tending, she says. Yours does too. Dr. Harper's tales weave a vivid thread through my mind. Each one a stitch of proof that these 5 washes aren't just chores, they're lifelines. There's my Uncle Ray, 74, his boots once scuffing my floor with every pained step. His voice a low growl of defeat as he rubbed knees that wouldn't bend. Until Dr. Harper's foot ritual turned his shuffle into a stride, his evenings now spent pacing my porch under the dusk, a grin cracking his weathered face as he boasts, feel like I'm 60 again. His hands clapping my shoulder with the strength that I'd thought was lost. Then Lois, my friend's mom, 68, who'd collapse on my couch each winter, her breath shallow with yet another cold, her blanket a shield against a world she couldn't keep up with, until armpit care woke her, colds fading, her kitchen alive with her humming as she tells me, I've got my spark back, her laugh a melody I'd missed. Pete, my neighbor, 76, his legs swollen and heavy last fall, his groans echoing as he climbed his stoop, his hands white-knuckling the rail, until inner thigh washes and stretches drained the puffiness, sent him tossing trash with a chuckle. Legs woke up, he says, his eyes glinting mischief like the old days. Bill, my cousin's dad, 81, a shadow of himself last winter, his back a vice, his words stumbling as he fumbled firewood, until back care straightened him, sharpened him, his voice booming as he stacks logs. Like I'm 70, he laughs, tossing splinters with a twinkle I hadn't seen in years. And Marge, my aunt, 80, her mind slipping into fog last spring, her voice a whisper over tea as names slipped away, until scalp massages brought her back. Recipes flowing, her laugh ringing as she squeezes my arm, mine's back, her eyes alight with a fire I'd feared was gone. These aren't just stories, they're mirrors, reflecting what Dr. Harper, 87, lives every day, still healing, gardening, sipping tea with a laugh that fills her office. Her vitality a testament to these 5 spots. Feet, armpits, thighs, back, scalp. Her body's quiet heroes. I see it in her steady hands, her clear gestalt, the way she moves like time forgot her address. And I feel it in my own steps. Lighter now from her lessons. You can have it too, 50, 70, 90, it's not too late. Start small, 5 minutes, one area, let it grow. These aren't tasks, they're gifts to your future self, washing away fatigue, stiffness, the slow creep of years. Dr. Harper's warning is a promise. Care for these, and they'll care for you, stretching your days with strength, clarity. Like this if it lit a spark, subscribe for more, share below. What'll you wash first? I'm here cheering. You're not just living longer, you're living bright, and it starts with a single rinse.